Are you ready, Exiles, to experience Flicker like you have never before? I'm talking extremely high damage, speed, and tankiness at the same time. This monster of a build deals around 75 million damage while having 100% spell suppression and max block. That's while utilizing a cheap and forgotten unique weapon that few people are exploiting right now. If all of that sounds too good to be true, then sit back and relax as we are going to go over everything in this video, starting with our Ascendancy. We are a duelist ascended into a Slayer, simply because the Slayer Ascendancy is best when it comes to both melee damage and tankiness. Also, its starting location on the tree just happens to be perfect for us. So first we begin with Impact. This node gives us that much needed accuracy and strike range while leveling. That alongside 15% more damage to enemies based on proximity. The thing about melee skills like Flicker, you always gain the highest possible bonuses from proximity modifiers, simply because you sit on top of an enemy when you hit them. Anyway, next we got Brutal Fever. This node provides us with doubled life recovery from Leech and 10% global damage reduction while leeching. That's while retaining leech effects after reaching maximum life. Basically, you will be leeching forever. This is hands down the best defensive node in the whole game, and rightfully so. Melee builds need something like this to sustain themselves against bosses. From here we take Masterful Form. This node sets our maximum endurance charges to be equal to our maximum frenzy charges. That's in addition to increasing our maximum frenzy charges count by 1. This node is generally the main reason why Slayer is better than Raider. Last but not least we have Bane of Legends. This node is simply 20% more damage multiplier against unique enemies and 10% more if we have killed anything recently. And yes, both of them stacks together. And yeah, that was it for our Ascendancy. Now let's take a look at our passive tree. Our tree focuses on frenzy charges, sword nodes, attack nodes, crit nodes, spell suppression, block, life, and speed. Next we got two large cluster jewel setups going. These provide us with leech and additional jewel sockets. They add the following notables: Feed the Fury, Fuel the Fight, Martial Prowess, and Gladiator's Fortitude. Next for mastery choices, just make sure to take the 40% Fizz conversion to Cold Mastery as it is required for the build. We also have 120% increased critical strike chance with swords at the cost of 20% crit multiplier. We compensate for that downside with the 25% increased critical strike multiplier against unique enemies. And that was it for our tree. Now let's go over our items. Starting off, we are main handing the Savior as our weapon in this build. This is technically unheard of in a non-dual wielding build. Here is the thing, after the recent buff to its percent damage, a well-rolled Savior is about half as good as the best rare sword on the market. Now add the extra damage dealt by your reflections and you get yourself a mirror tier performance for only a couple of divines. I say people should take advantage of this before GG realizes their mistake with the buff and nerf this weapon down next league. Next we got the self-crafted rare shield to go alongside our weapon. It is synthesized with +1 to maximum frenzy charges implicit. We spammed Essences of Loathing on it until we got block chance alongside other suffixes that we are satisfied with. After that we spammed Exalted Orbs on the prefixes until hitting tier 1 life. Our next item is Replica Firewalls 4. This item is responsible for generating both our maximum number of frenzy and endurance charges as long as we are running Aspect of the Cat. On this you want to have 30% quality and the Harvest enchant, which makes quality bonuses grants intelligence instead. Now in order to benefit from our chest, we need a rare item with Aspect of the Cat crafted on it. The best place to have that is on your helm. We chaos spammed the suffixes, then added Aspect of the Cat via beast crafting. After that we exalt spammed the prefixes for tier 1 life. Of course we did all of that on a base with Flicker Strike Lab enchant. Our next item is Darkrai Vector's unique boot. Another standard item for Flicker builds. We are looking to maximize our frenzy charges, so it's only natural that we use this boot. This one also increases our movement speed with frenzy charges, so it ends up being faster than the fastest mirror tier boots on the market. Just make sure to enchant your boots with damage penetration if you haven't killed recently lab enchant, because it's a lot of damage for very little time investment. Our next item is Arn's Anguish unique belt. This item converts all of our endurance charges into brutal charges. Each brutal charge is 3% chance to deal triple damage. We got 13 brutal charges, that's 78% more damage from one item. Pretty neat. Anyway, next we got the GG synthesized ring with +1 maximum frenzy charge implicit, and a bunch of other damage mods everywhere. When planning a strong flicker build, it's recommended that you mirror a decent ring and then replicate its effect with Calandra's Touch. You are pretty much guaranteed to find at least one mirror tier flicker strike ring listed for mirror service on the market, regardless of whatever league you are playing in, because flicker strike is simply very popular. Now for our amulet, we got a generic rare one that has life, crit chance, crit multi, and flat added physical damage to attacks. Make sure to anoint Frantic on your amulet, as it represents the last frenzy charge that we couldn't manually afford to allocate on our passive tree. Last but not least, we got the GG Flicker Gloves with +2 to maximum frenzy charges, +2 strike targets, and 25% physical damage converted to cold. I crafted this manually and happened to val the +1 frenzy on it myself, which is the main reason of why I wanted to make this build in the first place. But yeah, that was it for our items. Now let's talk about gems that goes inside of them. For our main 6 link we have Flicker Strike, Awakened Elemental Damage with Attacks, Awakened Cold Penetration, Awakened Multi-Strike, Ice Bite, and Close Combat Support. Next we got our primary reservation setup. It starts with Hatred, Precision, Herald of Ice, and level 3 Enlighten. Next we got a 4-link damage support setup. This one contains Divergent Assassin's Mark, Mark on Hit, Enhance, and Life Tap support. Next we got our primary mobility setup. In it we have Leap Slam, Faster Attacks, and Life Tap. Last but not least, we got some leftover gems. These are Phantasmal Ancestral Protector, a Portal Gem, and Enhanced Support. And that was it for our gems. Now let's talk about jewels. For our Watcher's Eye, we got 40% of physical damage converted to cold while affected by hatred, and 15% cold penetration while also affected by hatred. The conversion mod is mandatory while the penetration one is optional. Anyway, next we got one Lethal Pride Timeless Jewel that mentions any general. Place it in this specific socket to maximize its effect. This jewel will make nearby notables grants additional bonuses. We are looking for 5% chance to deal double damage, we are looking for melee crit multiplier, and try to get as many of them as you can. Any remaining jewel socket you have left should be filled with a normal rare jewel like this one. We are looking for life and as much crit multiplier as possible. You will need 6 of these, assuming that you have already capped your elemental resistances with your items. I recommend you to manually craft them, as crafting fractured jewels is much cheaper than buying them. You just need a Viridian jewel with the fractured mod, and then you reforge life on it via your harvest bench. Finally, for Bandit's quest, we are going to help Alira as usual. As for Pantheons, we got the Soul of the Brine King for the majors, and the Soul of Abareth for the minors. And that was it for our GG Flicker build for this league. If you guys have enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like and maybe consider subscribing so don't miss out on any future build guides like this one. My name is Phoenix and I will see you all in the next video.